Pursuant to MGL C330A20F, after notifying the chair of the public body, any person may record or transmit this open meeting. This hybrid meeting is being recorded by the town of Stockbridge. The names of members participating remotely will be announced. Any member of the public wishing to speak must first receive permission from the chair. The agenda items listed are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, but not all may be discussed, and other topics not listed may be brought up for discussion by the public body as permitted by law.
Okay, now,
Chuck. Hi, Chuck.
Chuck,
You're muted, Chuck.
push the button, Chuck. Chuck, can't hear you. He's working on two devices at once.
That's impressive. I can barely work on one.
Chuck Corer is online.
All right.
Getting up with that.
Minutes from the meeting on
March
March
24th.
24th.
I move we accept the minutes.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, Ron.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, Sally.
Hi, Bill L. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Bill R.
Chuck. Okay.
I love you. Okay, tonight, the 24th. No, tonight is 14th
I think it was 14.
of April. That's the wrong one. Colonial Road, Mass DEP.
Mark. Oh, you're not Mark.
I'm not Mark. So we had
Mark Stinson.
yeah, well, Brian Sider for the good board there. We had last year gotten an order of conditions approved for 6 Colonial Road to remove the existing addition that's on the house and build this new extension. It's greater than 50 feet from a nearby pond and BVW. It's on a 100-foot buffer. We're really just requesting, because the architect had proposed to lower the floor elevation by 1 foot. We're looking for a minor revision because that required the regrading of the area below the garage. So the area outside the garage floor lowered by 1 foot, so the grading changed very slightly to accommodate that. It still has the same drainage pattern to the rainwater garden that's proposed. But just felt that we should request a minor revision, put the revised plan on file, if that's appropriate.
Nothing's closer than it was before.
Nothing's changing in terms of the footprint. It's just lowering the finished floor of the building by 1 foot.
Did the
Just minor maybe.
grading will just be on one side or on the building? Or?
Just outside the garage floor, the garage door in the basement, it's a walkout garage. And so because this lowered 1 foot, the grading changed directly to the one proposed rainwater garden. And again, nothing's changing about the rainwater garden either. It's just that the grading got pulled back to maintain the flow away from the driveway area. So that's my request letter, just a minor revision of cost. What is the revised plan? Yeah, so I can, they submitted a few.
Good.
I think I get new card.
I would make a motion to approve the minor revision by 1 foot of the plan.
I second.
All in favor?
Hi, Sally.
Hi, Ron.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Bill.
I, Bill R.
Chuck,
So
I
good.
lost him.
He's the twilight.
Thank you.
He's bilocated, oh dear.
Chuck, can you talk to us?
You know,
Yeah.
first.
Can you
Okay,
hear me on the phone?
yeah, say yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I just ask you, just a question of curiosity? Is there a plan for the bunker, the bomb shelter, the whatever that is on the left-hand side of the property?
Not that I know of. There's no proposed changes. I'm not sure the function now or if they intend to use it.
Things go really
No,
bad, I'll
it
keep
is.
it in mind.
You know where it is.
Yeah.
And my son is convinced the apocalypse. Mom, stock up on canned goods.
I had some
Go
other
to the-
informal things we had discussed, so I don't know if it's appropriate to do it now.
You're here
Is that,
to it.
For 108 Interlake Road, we submitted the certificate of compliance request.
right,
I was just-
but you're on for, are you doing 8 Shamrock? Or is just Dave doing that? Okay, because I had you, all
Marion Fathers though, which I believe is at the top of the agenda.
right, so
Yeah.
why don't you do the Marion Fathers first?
Yeah.
And then do the, wait, Interlake.
All right, so we have finally submitted revisions to the proposed parking area at Marion Fathers facility, and this isn't within any wetland jurisdictions, but because of the so this is the proposed parking area, which is now existing lawn, but because of the proposed new impervious area, it's subject to a stormwater permit. So we submitted that permit. And the revisions we've made have actually reduced the area of impervious surface, so it's smaller than it was proposed prior. But along with this parking lot, there's some additional improvements proposed to the sidewalks along the street. And then for the stormwater management, we've proposed this large structure here, which is a series of sediment forebays, which discharge into rain gardens for water quality improvements.
Excuse me, Brian, where on the property is this? I have no.
Sorry, that's a good first. So if you can imagine where the existing monastery is, there's a long garage next to it along the main driveway going in. So this is the main monastery building here. And then the garage. So if you come in off of, this would be Vine Street. So this is the main driveway. And then you take a left at the top and it goes over to the monastery. So it's right along that driveway where there's an existing field area.
And the church itself would be over here somewhere? And the new
This is the church, right?
building
Yeah.
is over.
Further up north.
That
Yeah.
way, yeah.
So this is that garage, the monastery, the church building is here. So it's prior to that, it's to provide additional parking for the monastery, because if you've been up there, they park along the roadway. And they also have buses come in, so this will be an improvement for bus drop off. And so if we're coming in off Vine Street up this way, around the main driveway, it'll be a turn off, sort of a circular driveway for the bus to drop off, and then additional parking, which is a single direction drive through. Again, this is existing lawn mainly. So there's minimal tree removal, but because of the new impervious area, we've proposed a drainage structure, a large detention basin, and overflow to a level spreader, which is sized for the 100-year rainfall.
The dirt road is down here.
Yes, it would be quite a ways down the hill.
Okay,
Um,
so that's,
and that's another thing I propose. I don't think we've done a site visit for this project,
We haven't.
so I expect we schedule that. It makes sense too. But I wanted to present, this is the final revised plan, and we submitted the stormwater permit a number of months ago, which goes through this mitigation here. And along with this project also was improvements to the existing main driveway. Because in the past, it's just the sidewalk. Because there've been runoff problems toward Vine Street in the past, the main driveway is proposing a new swale down along the edge of it, which will discharge into this large level spreader down in the field near the street. And so this is managing the runoff coming down the main driveway into a mitigation. And this isn't necessary or part of the parking lot project, but it's separately going to improve the storm runoff.
and the total loss of pervious,
Total loss of impervious. Total new impervious
new impervious.
is I had that. Group B, Group C. I believe I think it's 30,000 square feet roughly. So it exceeds the 10,000 square feet of disturbance that requires the stormwater permit.
And the improvement is
I'll be mitigated with this. Sure. Well, the improvements are in the existing stormwater runoff, so again, down along the driveways being mitigated, whereas now it sort of sheet flows across that driveway. And obviously management of this new area here.
We'll look at all that.
So I think the site visit is appropriate to visualize it. The building here also that would be demolished, it's been small cabin.
That building?
Cement building, I don't think it's.
That used to be greenhouses.
No, this was a cabin or a housing unit, but it's no longer used.
David, did you review this?
I'm sorry, Lisa, did you ask me something?
I did. Did you review this stormwater thing?
I did. Yeah. Would you like me to share my comments?
Please.
I thought that the stormwater permit application was put together pretty well. I'd probably direct the commission's attention most importantly to the very last page of the package, which is I think it's called a phasing plan, which is the one thing we've really been pushing for in these projects, which is a construction phase stormwater management plan, which these guys did for the monastery project a year or two ago. And I think it looks really good. And if it's actually implemented, it should work. I agree that a site visit is probably warranted before the commission makes a decision on this application. And I think while we're out there, we should probably take the opportunity to meet with a contractor for the existing project that's down the hill. I was out there last Friday. I did an inspection, and it's clear there are a lot of fine material making it to the road. The culvert that's on the down gradient side of the driveway that's got a hay bale checked in, and it looked like it was completely overwhelmed with sediment. So I think there are some housekeeping issues on the existing project. So my recommendation is that we try to get on the site and look at all these things at once.
Mhm.
And I'd
David,
like
is
to,
that for the pump house or the dormitory?
the dormitory.
Okay,
Yeah, I did actually have a question about the pump house. And I don't know if that was part of this filing or just something separate, but there was a restoration
Separate.
plan and a planting plan
yes,
in the package. I looked at that. That
Yes.
looked great. I don't have any
Yeah.
comments other
yeah.
than that looked great.
Heritage approved that.
Okay. Yeah, that looked good. But I think we really need to look at the existing project, and I'd like to get a better understanding of what the current plumbing is for that stormwater system. I know we had some problems out there last fall where the contractor had implemented the construction phase stormwater plan that the engineer had put together. It looked good, but it just wasn't tied in, so a lot of the stormwater was just running down the driveway and onto the road. So I'd like to get a sense of what's actually happening now, and so that we can hopefully learn some lessons before this current project gets implemented.
All right.
So can we pick a
Thank you.
rainy day to go to have our site visit?
Depends on how hard it's raining.
I'm gone the end of this week.
Monday next week?
It's a holiday.
Oh, is
I
it?
mean, I can do it, but it's not Patriots Day.
Oh. Tuesday.
I can't do Tuesday, Wednesday.
Thursday. Thursday?
Going once.
Friday?
Yep.
In the afternoon?
Thursday's good. Is that the 2nd of May
No, Thursday, the 23rd, are we talking?
or 26th?
Yeah.
23rd.
26th, that's right. Okay.
23rd.
All right, I'm looking at March, sorry. Okay, now I'm looking at April. So the 23rd,
No,
Okay. Is
no.
3:00.
that okay, David?
I think I can do 3 o'clock. I might have a public meeting in Agawam at 6 o'clock that night, so I think I can make it all work. Yeah.
You can start, I mean, you can start at 2:30 and I'll catch up with you. Is that better if they do 2:30?
Yeah, I can get out there at 2:30.
Okay, and I'll just catch up.
Yeah, if I'm on the road by 4 o'clock, I'll be fine.
All right, 2:30, Marion Fathers on the 23rd.
Yeah, so I was out there, was driving my daughter's car to charge the battery and doing a little bear run. And I decided on Saturday to go up. What minute?
That was a mistake.
I managed to get over there to get a look down at the bog, and look, I think that it's clear that there needs to be a whole lot more vegetation buffer between the pump house and that hillside
Mhm.
and the bog itself. They really need to fill that in more, because right now it's, things get almost right down to the edge of the bog before there's any filtration at all. And so that's, I think, something we need to take a look at when we get over there.
All right. 2:30.
Well, and that's what the proposed restoration plan is. They haven't done that planting yet.
Yeah, well, that's what
Now that Natural Heritage has approved it, we can move forward.
Okay,
Thank you, David.
anything else?
Well, I had one more. If you don't mind. We submitted a request for certificate of Stockbridge Road, so I just thought while we're
Have to do it like
setting
that.
up site visits, like to request one there. And Thursday would be fine again as well.
34. 4.
Get out of there. Yeah.
108 into like.
108 Interlake.
To
Yes, yeah, two driveways down, I think. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You guys, man.
Next. 2 Cherry Street,
Contribute.
continued. 32 Lake Drive. Continued. Moving right along. Shamrock Street. That one's not. 8 Shamrock.
By Joe's second.
Okay, any changes from what we saw last?
Think so.
Good. Well, not good, but
Well,
let's do them.
it was useful.
You have.
Very useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You reading this? The walking road?
Yeah. It is, this is,
We left, right?
this is,
Cool.
yeah, we made some changes based on that, site visit and, you know, and very luckily, the Georges is right next door there. And, he's been kind of studying that situation over a little bit. It made a big difference in our approach. The last few little things here, the distance from the stream seems to be an issue. Just a few talking points here I'd like to give you.
The garage door on the same.
No,
In this,
as a result of that visit, that was a rendering that had been done when we thought we wanted the building on the other side of the lot. We didn't have time to redraw the rendering and flip it, so it's just it's a flipped version. And now the garage doors are facing east rather than west, but they're on the same end of the building. And so we realized that we had asked originally to propose to extend the building into that setback zone by about 10 feet. And that wasn't so well received. And so, by relocating the structure on the other side of the building envelope, we were able to locate it 70 feet from the stream.
Great, thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you.
That's what we like to see.
And then studying that with Joe and with Steve, we realized that also, opened up a wider range of improvements than we had visualized to begin with.
Yeah, meaning plantings and additional adding. I think what we want to do is add a rain garden bioretention area to the west of the building so that it'll take all the roof water. And then that'll give it a long flow path before it gets to the stream, keeping the driveway in the existing configuration so that we're not sort of disturbing more of the site than we need to.
Well, that's it. That driveway and that parking area, I think you have to be really careful about tearing it up. Because it's so tight to work in there. It's like working in a closet.
Yes.
So when this is done, there'll be no structures within 50 feet of the stream at all. Rather, before if you remember, we were proposing to sort of swap the existing structure that's about 10 feet with a new encroachment that was 40-ish feet. So all that will be gone under this scenario.
Great.
Yeah.
And with
Yeah.
the railroad tracks in the bullseye there, what's going on, in this area?
Oh,
Well, Joe had some ideas. Of course, he's a landscape architect as well. He thought that, letting the light into that area is going to make it easier to grow trees. And then there's a possibility of an outside area that could be semi-private from the street. But one of the attributes in terms, I've been over on Shamrock Street for quite some time. And, I like it opens up this little vista out through there down into the stream. It's amazing the number of walkers that we see every day.
yeah.
So that was,
Yeah, I think if this is conceptually like something the board is sort of comfortable with, we can put together a sort of formalized plan to present to you. Yeah.
What is the setback from
It's 30
wetland
feet.
here?
It's 30 feet to the new building.
But it's all flat down below the wall there, so
Yeah,
it's nothing it's a much better use of the space.
it is. And of course, no project related to Shamrock Street and the local vicinity is complete without, consulting the Mary Flynn bylaws.
Very up.
And, I lived directly next door to Mary Flynn for 6 years, and she was my son's godmother, and all the things she had to say about the environment always echoed in my ear.
She's sitting on your shoulder, Dave.
Practical, almost, almost. And she'd say, well, David, I have many faults, but being wrong isn't one of them. Okay. So then Joe went on to make the case for, bringing in a higher quality light on that side of the lot, the eastern light, and the building shade is lessened and the views are improved and the environment for tree planting and just getting having the whole thing stay damp enough to support growth, but dry out enough so as not to stifle growth, how it is.
This is, at least in my opinion, this is really excellent.
Yeah,
Thank
much
you.
better.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for,
What we like to see.
thank you for listening to us.
Yeah.
Joe, you have any comments
No,
as a butter?
I was talking to Joe a little while ago, and he was worried about the water flow. And with this plan, the water flow would be off the roof, if you could imagine this, and then across a relatively flat area, and then right into the wetlands. So it seems that the impervious surface that the barn sits on will just almost be like it is now. It just goes into the wetland and gets cleaned and then makes its way into the stream.
great.
Okay,
Thank you.
so
Carol.
we're waiting for your,
yeah, we'll
For the formal plan.
continue it to the next meeting and we'll,
yes,
okay.
okay?
Thank you.
Good,
Excellent.
thank you.
Okay. 108 near Lakin Road, we just did that.
Eight good.
8 Goodrich Street. ADU edition.
Plan. And plan, right? Thank you. One for everyone.
few extra.
Mhm.
Meeting, that was very helpful. After the site meeting, I located the outside corners of the original barn foundation. And that's basically what I based the dotted area on. So I took the back corners, basically extended a perpendicular line to the face of the garage. It came out to be a 25 by 37-foot structure. That's the outside dimensions. So the actual 900 square foot allowed for an ADU, this would be slightly under that. Because it's only the living space that we count. So this is the dimensions for the maximum size of the building. Again, this would be set on a platform 1 foot above the floodplain. I'm still proposing the same concept of piers, helical piers with a post system. The shift, I haven't set the grid up, but the grid would be no more than what I had put into the calculation that's on the plan. There's really effectively no change on compensation. There's no impact. One thing I've shown in addition is the owner would like to still put a deck on the structure, but he wants to do a cantilever deck. And this would sit approximately 6 to 7 feet above the ground. And so I told him, the way I showed it is basically, I said, you can't get the whole length of the west side. I said, you'd be lucky if you get anything there. I said, but it is a cantilever. There's no stairs coming off it, and it's only accessible from the interior of the first floor. So basically it's, say, 6 feet high in the air. But it would probably, it's still, I showed the 50-foot offset, so it's still very close to, well, it's still within the 50-foot for that deck area. But again, it's not, walking in it. I mean, it's still a manicured lawn area, so it's not like the area isn't accessible. It really can't change that circumstance, but for the function of the ADU, the deck would be strictly accessible only from the first floor. And it's a gray area, I'd say, with the bylaw. Still within, but it's not something that's on top of that area. Well, it is on top, but you're not walking on it. So, but I wanted to present that, just to have a discussion about it.
So what would the deck surface be? Just
It'd probably be a wood.
So it would be essentially permeable.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Water that fell on the deck would drop.
Yeah, there's no
pretty much
canopy.
straight down.
There'd be nothing on top of it, the standard deck. But it'd be cantilevered. Don't know if it'd be a wood system or a steel system. It's not really an issue. The way the cantilever is an extension. It would be, and the reason why it's shown this way is that the deck system would go east to west for the main carrier beams. And then we would extend those beams to create the cantilever. So it could be wood, it could be steel. Right now,
Just remind me, the distance to the wetland is?
the face of the garage is approximately 28 feet. The closest corner, the northwest corner would be the X that's on there. That's the existing.
And that's the old.
That's the old.
footprint of the barn.
That's right.
And the driveway is up behind it.
That's the dashed line I showed with the improvement. Well, I believe there was an old driveway there at one time. I believe it was probably a drive barn. But I'm just showing enough to pull up to it, have a backup or pull in and back up one way or the other could function.
And the deck would be outside the existing footprint, right?
Yes.
So
And
how do you get from that driveway into this dwelling in it. Is there a door on the backside, on the upper side of
The
it?
door could be on the south side, it could be on the west side. It's all above, because when the deck of the platform extends over to the higher grade, because it high to low, that the deck would just basically, there'd be a step system that would maybe one or two steps that would go to the first floor, whether it's on the south side or on the east side. Excuse me.
So the decision is,
What do we think about the deck?
I don't have a problem with it because it doesn't actually touch the ground.
Right.
I do have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Because
have a vote,
it's
so-
outside the existing footprint and it's already 29 feet, 28 feet.
That was my,
So,
The way the bylaw reads, like I say, it's not crystal clear, I would say, in this circumstance, because it's in the air. So that's why I presented it, and I knew there'd be a discussion, so.
yeah, the building is the whole issue. What you hang off the building is not gonna affect anything else that's already here. Do we want to build that far into the floodplain, wetlands?
It's not compromising the floodplain because it's floodplain.
Chuck,
no. David has his hand up.
David? David?
Yeah, hopefully this helps. I haven't seen this package. I haven't reviewed anything. I'm just like listening in, and I just wanted to offer this up. I'm not just exactly sure what the site plan shows, but I heard a deck mentioned, and I think I heard that the deck was going to be placed in an existing lawn. And I would just offer up for the commission that there is an exemption for certain activities in riverfront area and buffer zone. And this is what the passage says. It's at 310 CMR 10.02, 2B, 2E. And it says the conversion of lawn to uses accessory to residential structures such as decks, sheds, patios, pools, replacement of a basement bulkhead, and the installation of a ramp for compliance with accessibility requirements, provided the activity, including material staging and stockpiling, is located more than 50 feet from the mean annual high water line within the riverfront area, bank, or from BVW, whichever is farther, and erosion and sedimentation and erosion controls are implemented. So I'm not sure if any of that fits the bill for this, but I just wanted to offer it up.
So if this was 29 feet, it doesn't meet that exemption,
Yeah, so
correct?
if it's 29 feet, it doesn't look like it would meet that exemption, but I'm not sure. I haven't seen the site plan, so I'm not sure if elements of it would meet it or not.
I just sent you a picture of the plans. David,
I'm not, always against decks. My concern with decks is that 10 years from now, they get enclosed and then they become something else.
ADU is set at 900 square feet. This would be submitted as an ADU, go on a record as an ADU. So decks are excluded from the area of 900 square feet. Now, if it was 500 square feet and it was say a deck, and they say, okay, we want to enclose it up to 900 square feet, then that's an issue. But here we're nearly maxed out at the 900 square feet. It could never be made bigger from a zoning point of view. And from the law, it's actually a law.
This is the open deck, no roof.
Open deck. Yeah. And have a railing, of course.
I would hope so.
Yeah. They'll meet building code.
Any other thoughts?
What do you think?
I'm kind of willing to go with it.
yeah,
It's a pretty thoughtful design.
yeah, I think it's good.
Worked with what was there, the existing footprint.
Mhm.
I'm not too concerned about the deck. I like the fact that you've really worked with what we were trying to get done.
Well, I got the owner to reduce it by half.
Mhm.
I said I just didn't feel I could make the argument for a full length.
considering the location of the building itself, yeah, that was a stretch.
Right.
Any other comments? David, did you get a chance to review it? Have you looked at it?
Yeah, I saw the screenshot that Sally sent me, and I guess if it's as close as 28 feet to the BBW boundary, that it wouldn't technically meet the exemption language, but that doesn't mean that, conversion of a lawn to what's being proposed is actually going to alter a resource area. So I can see where the commission is, I think, is going with its thinking, and
Well, there's no conversion.
It's gonna stay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's still gonna be long.
because there's a garage that's already there. And
Okay.
so the front of the garage that's facing the BBW is the limit of that new structure. So it's not going any close where, if you can see where the X is on the X in the square.
yep,
Okay, so that's where the garage was. And behind the garage, there was a foundation where there was an old barn. So on the site visit, we suggested that if you use the length of the foundation on the old barn that was in the back as the limit of the sides of the new structure, that wasn't really doing anything new. Is that-
okay. So the one I'm looking at shows, and I don't know where the north arrow is on this, but it's showing a a dashed in box with an arrow pointing to it.
That's where the old garage was.
Okay, it's the part that doesn't have any stippling inside the box.
Right.
That's the new deck
That's
or the deck.
the dotted area in the box is the new ADU, and then the dashed area to the west of the structure, the southwest side, that's the deck.
Okay. Where's the wetland in relation to all this? I can't see that on this one, the screenshot I'm seeing.
It's directly to the west.
Okay. Okay. But that deck is going over an existing lot,
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. so really no impact to speak of then.
all right.
Um,
Motion to approve it?
Actually, I'd like to just raise another issue that I brought up with Mark Stinson.
Okay,
I challenged the fee. I wrote an email. I used the definition within the ADU that states that an ADU, whether it's attached or detached, is considered an addition. And then reference the fee structure within the Wetland Protection Act, Category 1 states addition, which is what I based the fees on. Of course, he said, well, DEP considers this as new single-family home construction. And in my mind, I just had to challenge it. I just let that one go. So I did. A day or 2 or 3 days I sent it to him, his boss, and then his boss, so I could get the chain of command. So basically, he came back and said that they don't consider the two laws to be merged by definition, and that they felt that he didn't state it specifically, but stands by their original fee suggestion of Category 2, which is quite an increase in the fee for the price. Well, especially for this, it's fairly simple. It would be an additional check to the town. If you agree with him, I mean, the board could certainly take a vote and either agree with him or allow the fee as is. I would ask you to ask the commission to make that vote. The change in the fee is $390 to the town.
Yeah, we don't usually argue with Mark on those things.
I would go.
I don't think it's an argument. It's a matter of interpretation of, I think, what's fair. I respectfully disagree with him and whom else was ever involved in that decision. But I just felt, bring it to the board and take a vote, and either way, do it accordingly.
What is the
I would go
total
with my-
price of the permit for this?
It's 500 total. That would be broken up between the two, the state and the town, plus your additional 250, is it, I think? So what I stated was I took the fee, recalculated, subtracted what I had already paid. So
My opinion is if you brought it to Mark, he bumped it up and it went up the chain and they came back with the same answer, I would not be inclined to disagree.
great thing about democracy is I see people that can vote.
I understand that, but I also.
You have
respect his
to,
opinion.
you have to have jurisdiction to vote, right?
Yeah,
You have to have some sort of standing, and I don't know, do we have
I
standing in the
would-
fee structure?
I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't think we
I've
want
never been-
to, I don't think we want to set a precedent. I don't think we'll stay with what's presented with us, and you will stay with that fee,
It's fine.
at least in my opinion.
If you're taking it for a vote, I would vote to stay with what Mark said.
I would agree, yeah.
Yeah, I agree too.
I agree.
Okay. Probably gonna pay.
That's fine. No, that's, I think.
We probably should have a
That's the great
motion.
thing about, you can challenge the president.
We should probably have a motion to uphold Mark Stinson's, opinion on the fee structure for this project. Hi, Sally.
I move.
I run.
I don't. I don't.
Chuck?
Chuck,
Chuck.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
okay.
David, I sent you another picture. Does that make more sense? David?
He's looking at something.
I'm looking at it right now, Sally.
Okay, I wrote in the little one place where the deck is.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I guess it wouldn't meet the exemption language, but
Thank you.
Doing new checks.
Well, thank you for the approval. I'm gonna take those.
Thank you for listening to it.
And do,
Yeah,
It's always helpful.
tangled up
we
here.
need to approve the,
Oh, yeah, we do have.
Make a motion to approve the plans as presented.
I make a motion to approve the plan as presented.
second,
Thank you.
Hi, Sally.
I Bill out. Joe.
I, Bill R.
Chuck,
Say hi, Chuck.
Hi, Chuck.
Just throw something at the screen.
Hi, Chuck.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you. Thanks.
okay, where are we? Westdale Road?
Yep.
Are we all settled on this finally? Sorta, maybe, closer?
We still have to
think
go
we-
through the land trust.
Yeah, we think we incorporated everything that we discussed. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Nice to see you all at the last meeting. And so I just, wanted to be here in case you have any questions.
I did not have a chance to look at it.
Okay.
So, yeah, I read it. I actually got the state template, the old version and the new version, and looked at them all side by side to see what in the old version of this CR came directly from the template that was necessary and what wasn't, and then looked at the new changes. And I thought it was really well done. I thought it really captured things a lot better. It seemed like the previous version really was a carryover from something that, as Doug indicated, was sort of cobbled together from a previous CR, where a lot of it did not apply to this property. And so I think the new version is really a huge improvement.
It's cleaner.
Pardon me?
It's cleaner.
It's cleaner.
Right.
Bill, did you have a chance?
I did
Okay,
review
good.
it. I wished there'd been like you'd use the word markup function.
Yeah,
So we could
right,
see
right.
what had been deleted.
Yeah.
Because, I did not have the patience that you did to put things side by side, but I looked at it sort of like there's not weird stuff being allowed, and the things that are allowed really made sense to me in terms of the conversations we've had around this room about what the intent that you all have and that we want to support to kind of limit the use but keep it natural.
So the land trust and Carmel both.
Land Trust hasn't
Well, they,
reviewed it yet.
yeah, they would like to review it carefully. And I did, send an email offering to have a conversation with Rich and just, saying that basically what we've done here is what you all asked us to do at the last meeting. Things like snowshoeing, horseback riding, harvesting, grasses. Those things have all been removed. I fixed your name, Sally.
Thank you.
Charlotte. And we just, tried to sort of make it a little bit, it was a little bit like a duck soup. It was just.
You feel better about it?
I think I think it makes a lot more sense. I think it looks good.
Yeah.
And I did, Rich had brought up his concern with signs, and I know they want more signage, more square feet, and we want less. But I did make a gesture in that direction by adding in a change, which was for direction, I'll read it to you. For directional purposes only, 3 signs not greater than 6 by 6 inches, mounted only on dead trees or wooden posts. Laurel Hill's trying to get away from, like if you go walk Lower Bowker's Woods, there are just these plastic signs nailed into trees very frequently. And I joked that I think Pat Flynn would put in a traffic light if she could. And so we're getting away from that, from the nails in trees, and just using the flares is the direction I'd like to go in. And so, just keeping things going in that direction.
Yeah. The term flares, I'm not sure.
Just painting instead of nailing something into the trees. Use a
blaze.
Color coded.
blaze. Yeah, that's what I meant. A blaze. Sorry. Thank you. Yeah.
So what really struck me was that it just was, the whole thing was just more on, that it was clear that, and I didn't know this. This is the first time I've dealt with a CR, and I don't know, is it the first time you've dealt with this?
Yeah.
That I assumed a lot of the language in there was mandatory, that had come from the template. And yes, a lot of it does, but a lot of it doesn't. A lot of it was sort of some sort of gamish, like I said, that came from cut and paste from a previous version, or that sort of misrepresented the state of the property. Talking about meadows and grasslands and things when you're really dealing with old fields. You're dealing with abandoned agricultural fields. And if you're going to deal with those, if you want to manage them for biodiversity, you have to manage them for biodiversity. You just don't treat them like they've always been treated. So there was a whole lot in there that was just a carryover from what I think was past.
I mean, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but we'd like to see the land as more, from a landscape ecology standpoint, is more dynamic as opposed to, I think, maybe in previous generations, there was more of a viewing it as static.
Yeah.
So if there was a field, there had to always be a field.
Yeah.
So it's a shift in thinking with regards to the land, but that's.
And the distinction between a meadow and an agricultural field is profound.
Yeah.
And
I didn't.
we've kind of lost sight of that in a lot of things.
I looked at I also looked at the
use these things for
report, and that there was nothing in there that documented the open fields as actually being meadows or grasslands. That there wasn't plant inventories that said, "Oh, this is a diverse meadow." Well, New England doesn't have a lot of meadows; never did.
No.
There are wet meadows. There are some ridgeline meadows. And Native Americans often burned, so those resulted in some meadows. But most of what we call a meadow is just abandoned agricultural fields. They could be very productive. They could be very productive in terms of biodiversity, but you have to make that a priority. Like you were talking about, they were talking about with Gould Meadows, that just
You don't just
plow it
leave it.
and then sow it as a meadow, try and bring it back. Because if you just keep mowing it, you're just dealing with all the introduced grasses. They love to be mowed. That's how they made their living. You know, they got eaten by grazers, and that's what they're adapted to. But a lot of the forbs and the sedges and other things are not. So when you keep cutting them down, you just keep reinforcing mostly introduced grasses. So it's all about having a plan. So a grassland is a plan, meadow is a plan.
And we're going in that direction. Actually, just last weekend, I was out on Sedgwick Reservation with two of the DCR foresters. And that's all woodlands, forest, of course. But, you know, we saw they pointed out several old charcoal pits. So it's all, you know, wooded, but they were showing me, you know, signs of, yeah, they read the land. Yeah. So one thing that I also learned recently was that when as we get closer to this, the office that oversees conservation restrictions, I have been in touch with them, and they're going to an online, thank you for that information, Sally, online submission process. But I do have the form for submission, and they're very clear. No signatures until we have had a chance to review it, because when they review it, you know, they may very likely have input and suggestions. So,
Yeah, I attended a seminar, an online seminar on how the new online system is going to be for submitting conservation restrictions. And it's going to simplify to a great degree, because one of the issues that they've had over the years has been to not know which is the most current document.
Okay.
So this new program, this new online program will keep track of which is the most current documents, and there won't be the mix-ups that there have been before. Apparently, they've had all kinds of trouble with that. So.
and I think, you know, the office is coming back after pandemic, and I sent an email out to the director, and I heard right back. So I think they are rebuilding, and it's,
Much more responsive.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think that Laurel Hill is heading in the direction of conservation as part of beautification, which was the original intent. And those two things go hand in hand. And there's so much new information that's coming along about conservation and recreational use of lands and the impact and all those things. We want to have a balance of recreation and conserved properties that will be a legacy. And keep the town. I mean, we're building a lot of stuff here now, as we all know. And a piece of land like this, I think it's really important to let it do its thing with oversight and be natural.
So I did apply for a grant for a stewardship plan, and they don't have any room for fiscal year 26, but I'm in the line, in the waiting, in the line for fiscal year 27. So.
Great.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So land trust will review this. I will get a chance, hopefully, to look at it, and then we'll circle back when everybody's got it figured out.
Okay.
Great.
Yep.
Okay,
Thank
thanks a
you.
lot.
Okay, we have a tree removal request,
27 Church Street.
7 Church Street.
Yes.
You looked at this?
I looked at the pictures that she sent. It's not a town tree.
No.
It's on the, I haven't looked at it.
Okay, well, we can take a look.
You want to look at it when we do the site visit? Just
Sure.
come by?
Time,
Whatever.
doing 4 o'clock at,
And so they can see if it's like 4:30?
Okay, 4:30.
4:30 to look at the tree removal in 27 Church,
Is on Thursday?
the 23rd,
yep.
same day.
All right, yeah.
All right,
Wait,
moving on.
tree removal, where is this again?
27 Church Street.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Do you know the tree that she's talking about?
I have no idea.
It's in the backyard. so I don't know
Yeah.
how-
Bill, do you know the tree?
No, not this one.
Okay.
Interlaken Road Realty Trust. Phase 1 Development, SK.
Good evening.
Oh,
For your record, my name is Jim Scalise. I'm a civil engineer with SK Design Group. Here on behalf of 3537 Interlaken. This is a first step in development of that Interlaken parcel. There's a fair amount of history I assume you folks are generally familiar with. There's a fairly dense resort development that was approved by the select board last fall. That permit included a fairly lengthy set of conditions. As part of those conditions, they kind of set up a framework for us that that the project was required to have a very specific phase one, which was the renovation of the mansion. And that could include the renovation of the existing buildings. And that phase had to include a stormwater permit. And it has some other stipulations as far as, construction materials and some other zoning issues. It also included landscaping and screening for the abutters. But what's relevant here is that
Conservation restriction.
actually the conservation restriction in that special permit, I'm happy to go there. There's several pages in that special permit that speak to the conservation restriction. It starts off by saying that there should be 220 acres, and we've completed a survey that meets that requirement. So just so you know, we're working on it. But the way the timing of it is set up is that it be recorded before occupancy of the mansion, the rehabilitated mansion. So it was set up so that the final entitlements, because as part of that special permit process, we knew that there would be some master plan changes. We knew that we needed to do stormwater design and get more detail, architecture, that sort of thing. So as in that process, we knew that we'd have to probably go back to the select board, which we expect to do this summer. We also expect to come back to the commission in the next, month or two with a full notice of intent for that master plan. But in the interim, we'd like to start phase one. So,
Can you just repeat what you said about the conservation restriction? So you don't have to.
we don't have to have that. If the mansion, we expect to submit for a building permit in the next month or so. That project is expected to take about a year to build. So within the next 13 months, rough guesstimate, we would expect to have a recorded CR in advance of us occupying or being able to use that new building.
Thank you.
From a renovated building. So we have roughly a 1-year timeline. And we've already spent money and, taken significant steps to allocate where that parcel of land is and to make sure we have the 220 acres we promised by survey, which we do. So, we have that work ongoing. This applicant hasn't ever done a CR before. So we need to learn a little bit about how the process works and work our way through it. So we think that's going to take us a little time. But where we are working on it, we speak to our attorney,
Thank you.
on a monthly basis to kind of.
So I don't know if you were sleeping through the last one, but there's a new online program for.
I heard, yeah, there must be a portal. Yeah.
For submitting conservation restrictions. They've got 3 people reviewing them.
Okay.
So it should be a lot more streamlined and easy to do. The forms, from what I saw, are pretty specific about what's required and what you need
Okay.
to do. So I
So
think it shouldn't be
the
that.
special permit, and maybe I'll submit a copy to you, Sally, so you can share it with the commission, but it has a couple of 3-4 pages about what are permitted and prohibited activities. So that's been laid out by the select board to us. And then it also includes the schedule and the timing and the land area. So there's some stipulations in there already for us to kind of lay that out. And then it says for us to prepare a draft and submit it to town council. So how that filters down in the community and how we interact and collaborate, we're not entirely sure how that plays out. It'll be up to town council and the select board, but we're willing to participate however the town deems appropriate. So maybe that's a conversation you have internally in the community here to decide how we.
And one more question while we're on it. Can we include land trust in that, or is it just the Conservation Commission? We don't have to decide that right now.
I don't know. It depends on who holds the PR. It should be the Concom, I think.
And that part is actually, we purposely made that kind of wide open as part of the special permit. So that's up for discussion.
Okay, thank you.
But it could also include BNRC because the property is going to abut property that they already have. So
It's to be determined.
and they have lots of experience with creating.
They do. And I've worked through a couple, but, kind of indirectly, I'll say, as just a surveyor or engineer. But, there's an initial assessment and study that needs to be done. There's surveys that need to be done. So I'm trying to cobble together from my perspective, some of these early components, like the survey. So we have that. So that we're not at the last minute trying to figure that out, or if the weather's bad, right? So we've got some of this started and we're working on it.
Okay.
Jim, where is the CRs?
The CR zone?
Not every feet.
It's, well, if I've only shown you a map here of the front portion of the property, then there's a wetland and then there's an agri-hood that was approved as part of the special permit, which is say
17.
Yeah, but it has border land around it, so it's probably 30 acres in total there. And then there's 220 acres from the toe of slope all the way up the mountain to the top.
So it's mostly steep slopes anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably a pretty good sizable piece there that's below like Berkshire Scenic Mountains Act, but there's about 20% up the slope. That's where you hit that line. And then the rest of it is all, I would agree with you, is very steep.
So what are we going to see first in your,
So the purpose of tonight is just as both, we are proposing a phase 1 development plan. So again, in compliance with the special permit, actually made you copies. Probably easier if I make the notes to have a picture. Visual, right? So I just made a copy of a few pages so that it wasn't so voluminous.
These go to David?
This is part of the original stormwater. These are just numbered pages. I just gave you 3 out of the 9 wetlands in the set. So he does have them. I've made color copies of 3, 5, and 6, just the site plans. So the approach here is to start this first phase of development. And as we develop the mansion structure first, we propose some landscaping behind it. We propose a small addition. We propose some improvements to the access driveway and entrance. And the goal here really is to do as least land disturbance as we could, make improvements for access, safety vehicles, fire trucks, that sort of thing, but also not to replicate or duplicate efforts in the future. So where we would come off of the existing road, there's an existing cul-de-sac kind of set up on the residential property now. We connected, we just tied that into what would be the front entrance and parking in front of the mansion. So we've tried to incorporate both existing and proposed impervious surface on the site as part of this phase 1.
we give these to a couple of butters at their.
Oh, sure. You folks looking for a copy? Anybody else? Butler? These are all part of the public record, by the way. They're all part of the stormwater report. That report looks something like this. If you folks are wondering, there's several hundred pages of stuff. that kind of go along with it. But the proposed work is really to renovate the mansion building in accordance with the special permit, to renovate the existing building that's behind it into a restaurant, and then the barn event space. There's an existing gymnasium building that was, it's located where the barn was, so we call it the barn. But that gymnasium building would be an event space. I will point out that I have a draftsman and a landscape architect who show a couple of grass parking spaces in the buffer zone. It's our intention to do no work in the buffer zone as part of this project. I want to make that perfectly clear. I would call that a scrivener's error, and I will make sure we don't clear any trees in the buffer zone as part of this application.
What are you gonna repurpose the gym as?
Event space. So what we've done is, as part of our site plan, is there's these areas of driveway kind of in this zone create access to both the rear of the gymnasium, I'll call it, maybe you know it that way, a little drop off here for event space, and then tie this entrance driveway into what's an existing cul-de-sac kind of paved driveway that exists on the property now. And we think we can put some parking around that in the grass for seasonal events without really a lot of impact.
So the pink line is the
Buffer zone. The
Yeah,
100-foot
that is
buffer.
the buffer zone. Okay.
Yeah. So we came in from ANRAD, I guess last fall. And so we believe this buffer zone to be, survey accurate. So we've carefully located all of our stormwater BMPs outside of the buffer zone. We've done soil testing at each location. We've met the 2, 10, 25, and 100-year storm events. We had decreases in all flows. The one issue that came up as part of the design, and just to share with you a little bit, is this north driveway currently looks like it floods to me. Looks like water may overtop that driveway in storm events. So we're proposing to capture a lot of water that used to go to that driveway and divert it to the southeast design point where I have room to build a drainage BMP. And by removing some water from the watershed, some land area, we've been able to reduce flows in all locations. So there's a little creativity that went on as part of the layout and design. But we very carefully went through both the stormwater management standards with soil testing, groundwater separation calculations, every standard to the maximum extent. The only standard I believe that we haven't met to 100% is really groundwater recharge. And what we're recharging, and that would really be the capture area. So as part of the stormwater management standards, you're supposed to capture all of the impervious area and then recharge it. And in our case, we have shallow bedrock at this design point. We have shallow groundwater at the other two. And we put monitoring wells in. We actually included some of the geotech on the site. We have hundreds of test pits and wells that have been done on this site over the past few decades. So we have a lot of data. And it seems to us that for us to realistically expect there to be any groundwater recharge, we're going to capture uncontaminated rooftop water from the mansion, and we're going to put some BMPs in the front lawn here and infiltrate them up high where we have the ability to do so and maintain separation from groundwater. But otherwise, this site's a redevelopment site. This site was covered with buildings. It has existing pavement, tennis courts, pools. There's a lot of history here. So we believe that is well within the guidelines of the stormwater management standards. Now, in some cases, you exceed those standards, which is the 25-year storm. Now you manage the 100, and we fully met that 100%. So I think we've submitted a complete application and given you adequate information to do a review. And we're hopeful that we can manage a process that will allow us to move forward with a building permit, like I said, in the next 45 days, and then site work maybe in the next couple of months, depending.
Jim, what is this?
That is our landscape architect would like to create a great lawn, and that's a footpath that goes around that great lawn.
Great lawn. To me, that's
I have a comment on the Great Lawn.
There's a lot of talk about that at Elm Court as well, the long lawn.
Well,
yeah, I mean, lawn is
lawns are, and
Okay.
I have experience with lawns, but nothing lives in the middle of your lawn except the geese.
The geese, okay, I'll pass that along.
You might want to think of some plantings.
Yeah.
Okay,
They're all-
I'll talk to the landscaper. I will. He's very good. He's like an award-winning land planner.
Yeah,
He's
tell
excellent.
them too, environmentally, they're just not great. And then you need to use all the chemicals to keep them.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly in an upland area, so, you know, we were careful about that. We understand that, but I will speak to him for sure.
And I had
The
one,
English do great lawns, but they do them in a much more complex manner than we would think of them as lawns.
Yeah, I was listening to you talk about meadows, so yeah, I learned a little. Yes, sir. So I'll relay that message.
I have a kind of overriding question, and I want to hear what David's feedback. If I think of the whole property, I understand this is a stormwater for this portion, but as you work in other portions, whether it be other stormwater plans and will the work in other parts of this property affect this down the line?
Yes, so I would expect that the front stormwater pond, the southeast location, that pond really will remain unchanged. And I wouldn't expect future development to change that significantly. These two rear ponds, because the special permit anyways, and I hope not to cause debate, at least at this point, shows residential houses among this. So these two stormwater ponds will be replaced with development. So that as this moves forward to future phases, what we're thinking of doing is submitting to you kind of an overall master plan notice of intent, so you can judge it in its entirety.
And will this stormwater then be revised?
This stormwater will be replaced, and these two rear ponds will be replaced ultimately as part of that effort.
So this is just a temporary.
This is phase one. And that's kind of how the special permit, laid it out for us, that no other development can happen on this site until this is finished. So we're kind of following along with the rules that has been presented to us. So and then honestly, these are all market driven, these residential type, developments. So I can't predict that market or how quickly. This could be here for 10 years or it could be here for 10 minutes. I don't know, depending on the market.
David?
Was your specific question, Lisa?
My question was, how will future development on the property affect this stormwater? And are there going to be a number of stormwater plans for different projects or?
Yeah, I guess I can't answer that without seeing like the subsequent plans.
Yeah, no, and that's.
Yeah, I think I answered it. I think our approach would be to do a master plan next and then implement those stormwater controls and use them for future phases as the project's built out. So we don't have to do this duplicate, this continued undoing of work. But this particular first phase kind of forced us a little bit based on the special permit to do it this way.
I do have comments and questions on this if and when the commission wants to hear those.
We got time.
Yep.
Okay, I'll start with comments, I guess. So currently there's first of all, I'll say that and I think Jim stated this too, none of the project is within resource areas or buffer zone, correct, Jim?
That's correct.
Okay, so despite that, SK Design has put together a stormwater permit application and followed Mass DEP's 10 stormwater standards analysis very strictly. So the project is trying to demonstrate compliance with the stormwater management standards, even though it's not in wetlands jurisdiction, which I would tip my hat to SK Design for doing. Based on what I read, it looks like all 10 standards are met. I might have some qualifications on some of those. I think Jim mentioned that compliance with standard number 3, which is the recharge standard, might be tough because of the bedrock at the site. And I think that standard presupposes that you've got soils that are amenable for infiltration. And if you don't have those on site, then it's very difficult to meet that standard. So as far as standard number 4, there's a table provided in the narrative that talks about TSS. I think that's TSS removal, but it doesn't actually have units for the volume in the table. I assume it's cubic feet. So that's just a question I had.
I'm not sure I follow you on that, David.
Yeah, for standard number 4, there's a table in your narrative.
Oh, for the volume, yes, it is cubic feet, yes.
Okay, I assumed it wasn't gallons or liters.
No, it's cubic feet, yes, it is. For bay volume, yeah, cubic feet.
Okay. That's what I thought. So another comment is, despite what the plans indicate, looks like a lot of new work happening. There's less than 1/4 of an acre of new impervious surface being proposed. So given the fact that there's no stormwater management currently on the property, and the project proposes to do stormwater management in accordance with Mass DEP's stormwater standards, that should be a huge improvement. While the impervious surfaces that are going to be new are going to be minimal, I think there's going to be a fair amount of earth disturbance during the construction phase. So this is probably another project we want to put on the list to do inspections at once in a while, just to make sure everything looks okay. The Great Lawn area is kind of part of its own sub watershed, and it looks like there's a significant amount of grading going in to make that part of the project happen, Jim.
Yeah, there was an old, what we call the soccer field out there now, and our intention is to kind of rework that area to make it look more natural than it looks currently.
It's like it was a raised septic field.
It actually is. It was really a soccer field. I don't have any records of a septic field under that.
But it was Windsor Mountains.
Yeah.
It wasn't Windsor Mountains.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the contours kind of to the due east of the proposed Great Lawn, and it looks like there's a fair amount of, cutting and filling to make.
Yeah, we're trying to. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking. There's like a dash dash line that's on the downgrading side of that. I don't know what that is, or if that was intended to be.
So the idea was there, David, to create a terrace that was for a planted garden. Part of the concept for this development is to have an agricultural component. So it's actually like a vegetable garden is what it's intended to be there.
In front of the building.
Yeah, that sounds great. I was just wondering if there's going to be any S&E controls on the downgrading side of all that grading, just because it's pitching down right towards Interlaken Road.
Yeah, I put an erosion control plan in this booklet, and we've also prepared a SWIP plan, which I can send to you. But yeah, we've included erosion controls around all areas of a disturbance. I think it's written in the plan, but we've also put it on the SWIP drawings.
Okay, good enough. So I think those are my comments. I had a couple more questions. On page 8 of the narrative, there's an indication that there's going to be a decrease in impervious surface in hope I get this right, the watershed or subcatchment identified as 1L.
Right. So that's the one I was kind of trying to explain to the commission. So at the north entrance or the North Gate Road, where that intersects with Interlaken Road, our analysis showed that we currently have a stormwater problem there. And the water runs across the Great Lawn, I'll call it, and then flows north, runs under a culvert under our driveway, flows over along the edge of the road, then goes through another box culvert under Interlaken Road, and then flows towards the lake. So that area right now, if you do the analysis, it looks like what our software tells us is that driveway overflows, and that pipe backs up and actually ponds that whole front lawn area. So that's not something we want to continue. So what we did is we diverted some of the watershed area from that culvert, which is undersized, both the one under our driveway and the one under the town road. So we've captured some of that watershed and are diverting it to the south. And by doing so, I'm able to build a detention basin down there and manage it. So then I don't have to, then the town's infrastructure is no longer, because I didn't incorporate, the neighborhood that's also upgrading to that next to us. So I'm trying to get as much of our water out of that system as possible. Because I would anticipate in a 10-year storm, I mean, an infrequent storm, a 10 or 25, that you have some real problems or flooding there. So I think it's best if our development steers our water elsewhere.
Okay, that makes sense. So which plan sheet on the package that I have is that stormwater basin that's going to take the water away from that culvert?
So if you go to drawing 4 of 9, and so
Okay.
I have drawing watershed 1S, and I have a triangle labeled SE in that area. That detention basin is now capturing much of the water from the front.
Okay.
I'm capturing. So that 2E watershed is all flowing now to the south, where it used to flow immediately east and then north. So I've captured that whole area, including rooftop area off the mansion, and have directed it away from that watershed.
Okay, so it's southern entrance, not the northern entrance.
Yeah, the southern entrance is where the pond is going. The north entrance is where I have trouble, which is at there's like a yellow or orangish colored box, a reach 1 and 2 up there. And the analysis shows that I'm overtaxed on those reaches, which are pipes.
So you're just shunting all that water to the south.
That's right. I'm moving it a little bit, and then I can manage it.
Okay, I got you. Cool. Okay, I got that. The other question I had is there's a comment also on page 8 that says, oh, it's one of the catchments is going to be reduced in acreage by 2 acres. Are we talking about the same spot or is that?
Yes. Yeah, that's kind of the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think that's all that I had. I thought that, again, that it's a big site. There's a sea of lawn out there that's already, in place to capture and infiltrate a lot of stormwater. So the fact that there's really only modest new development happening at this very large site, and the fact that it's going to actually implement new stormwater management BMPs in accordance with the stormwater standards should only result in an improvement upon existing conditions. That's kind of the conclusion I drew from looking at this.
My original comment was Route 183 is supposed to get repaved this year.
Okay.
If there's culvert work or something that needs to be done near the entrances.
That's under our driveways only. It doesn't cross.
Maybe you should talk.
I will absolutely do that. Yep. Thank you.
If he can make an improvement now.
Yeah, I'll talk to him about his culvert. Yeah. Because he has a little box culvert there. I think but I mean, the problem, it's like a plus and minus. If you make that culvert larger, then you're going to allow more water to pass through, and that could be a detriment to I don't know how the neighborhood is functioning now. It appears that there's a bit of a conglomeration of roads and houses and things towards the lake.
It's all the lake drive.
Yeah.
Drive them up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to dry them up, but if we make this culvert bigger, I may provide a conduit for them to get more water.
Well, that's
in a hurry.
Conversation.
Yeah, I'll talk to him.
Have with
I'm happy to provide that. Yeah, I'll give him a little pre-engineering there for sure.
Jim, can you take a quick question here?
Yeah, absolutely.
On the stormwater, on that D basin, the one that's in green on our page 4.
Page 4?
This one.
Yep,
Right here.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
You said that's got bedrock?
Yes, we did a test fit in it. Yep.
What kind of rock is it?
That I wasn't there personally.
Because it might be limestone.
I think it is limestone. I think it is limestone, and I think it was fractured.
There's limestone in that area.
It's fractured, except you're supposed to have a couple of feet of separation when you put in groundwater recharge to bedrock or groundwater. Yeah, I do think I think it's from a drainage perspective, it's not a terrible thing. And I did put a storm scepter treatment unit so that I get the max in that chain of stormwater so that I get maximum treatment, because I was worried about, groundwater impacts. So I have a good treatment train, but I don't think I can take credit for recharge, although you'll probably get some. But under the regs, I can't really take credit for it.
Joe, my well went down through 300 feet of limestone. I'm a quarter mile down the road, so. That's what you're gonna hit, limestone.
Yeah, I think I've seen the fractured, it's, a carbonate rock kind of structure. We've seen that in Stockbridge before.
Especially.
Yeah. I actually drilled the wells at the Marion Fathers and we had some issues.
So we had a lengthy email from an abutter, and these are questions that he had, which I sent to David. David, did you have any responses to Charlie's?
My impression, Sally, is that those comments were related to the probably subsequent project that he may have seen an envisioned concept for, and not this phase one project.
Okay.
He's talking about significant tree clearing and all sorts of impacts that just, unless I'm missing something, I don't think it's this current project that's in front of the commission.
That was my understanding.
Yeah.
So
Just phase one now. Well, we can have that conversation.
I will forward this to you, Jim.
Okay.
So that.
Yeah, I would like that. I'll incorporate it.
Do it, yeah.
Because, understand that even as part of the special permit, that there's a requirement for when trees are removed, they're to be replaced.
Right.
So, as part of my planning, we will do that.
Great lawn's a great place to plant trees.
Yeah, well, we have an orchard out there too, that, an existing orchard. So there's tree planting. We have a landscape architect drawing this stuff. He's planting trees. There's no doubt about it.
Maybe you can put pollinators in that great one.
Okay. Yeah, you have my word. I will mention it to David.
We have a question back here.
Yeah, can I approach the board?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm Josh Pedro. I live at 62 Interlake Road. The South Drive is across from my property. And when I just heard about this meeting tonight. I didn't have anything prepared other than some other things I have here. The South driveway is a nightmare. It's a nightmare, and it's a big problem, and it's still a problem. And I wasn't able to photocopy everything off. But when the Beals report was done, they said that was SW comment 45. It would appear that stormwater would sheet in excess of 750 feet without any proposed catch basin. So that's the driveway going down in front of my house. And it would say it would appear to discharge directly into Interlaken Road. And it's horrendous. I bought my property in 98. The Sisto was there. The driveway was sunk. I had no water, cellar dry. They paved the roadway. They made a big giant water chute down that South Lake, the South Road. The Sisto's drive was sunk. It might have been paved. I asked my neighbor at a long time there. He said it was paved. Maybe it crumbled. No water across that roadway. Not one single drop. Dry basement. No problems. They paved the roadway. And I'm working 6 days a week, and I'm spending most of my time working. And it took me a long time to figure out what the heck was going on. And this is like the aftermath. If you want a picture, just send it around. But this is their drive, and this is my front lawn. There was so much water eroded everything that I ended up putting three to four pickup truck loads of topsoil that somebody gave me, and I had to do all that while the town, Ersfeld got a hold of Clint Snyder to put this little swale in there so it would kind of stay there. It's junk, it's garbage. I've spent 20 plus years cleaning it out, trying to keep the roadway down. So this is what that South Lake Drive road will do to a property with no drainage on it. And I have to go over there and I have to maintain the thing.
Can you show me where that is, where you're talking about on the plan?
That's the South Drive.
Yeah.
My house is, they don't have the driveway in front there.
Well, this is like,
This is Interlake Crossroad. That's my driveway. That's about
So it's across.
oh,
it's
17,
across
8,
the-
yeah. The front of my ranch house is directly across from this driveway.
Okay,
And it was like, the town has a videotape. It's like a brook when this happened, when they didn't fix, everything's coming down and shooting away. And then what you get is you get the whole property eroded in. So the town put in a swale, which is junk. I had to keep it. It'll keep it if I keep it cleaned out, and that roadway's got to be kept down, which the grass grows and it rises. It's a mess. It should be taken care of today. It's still no good. The other thing is, let's skip back to my sheet here. There was just one more thing I wanted to address. This UT comment 17, a sewer manhole appears to be within the swale, that's the swale they put in at the very bottom of the drive, adjacent to the southern access drive near the intersection with Interlake and Road. We do not believe it is appropriate to have the manhole within the swale, as it may cause storm water to enter the sewer system. In other words, that's their south driveway. Right across is my house. And that's where the manhole cover is. They're saying it shouldn't, there's a problem there. And what happened is, I maintained this for years to keep the water from eroding my property. And they put this flower bed in here, and I complained to the town. I said, they put it in front of the swale. I said, my property's gonna get flooded. They said, prove it, and I videotaped it. My property got flooded. So Lenny Tisdale sent a guy in here to push this thing back, this hump out of the swale. And those guys graded and graded all the way past here. And they were slamming into this top here, because there's not really that much roadway from here to here. In other words, you can't go uphill here. Any water really would have to be a ditch, a low ditch on the side of the road. So I can't visualize what they're doing. I'm telling you right now. And I'm sure that somebody will take care of it, but the board needs to know this driveway has no drainage. The fix that the town put in it is junk. The people at Beals knew that this driveway would never drain and was doing exactly what they said more than 20 years ago. And this issue with this manhole cover, they were slamming into it. They have an issue saying that shouldn't, it's inappropriate.
guy slamming into it, what was slamming into it?
Because the grass will keep filling up here. You got pine trees and everything.
So when they
So
were
this is
mowing?
the town, Lenny, Clint Snyder put this swale in. It was lower here, and then after they put this dirt in here, it was raised up more in front of here. In other words, the water will just go like that into the roadway. It's not going to go uphill. So what the town did, they had a bucket loader tractor, and they scraped the dirt out back and forth and made a gully here. And when they were making the gully through here, they were hitting up here. So Beals is telling you that
So it goes towards the manhole now instead of down the driveway.
So
it's
Do you know where the manhole is?
I do.
right.
So, I'm not here to debate anything. I'm just, the Beals report was based on a stormwater design that I threw away. Okay, so it was a 70% design. I admitted that in the special permit. It was a placeholder to see if we could even get a special permit. So it was a strategy.
That was way back.
That was way back last fall, last summer.
And it was very.
It was a rough stormwater design just to kind of show general compliance, and they wrote 25 pages why they didn't like it, which is fine. I spoke to them several times on the phone. We had a nice chat. They're good guys. There's no debate for me. But we threw it away and we did a very detailed design. Now, for just phase one, I've got more design than I did for that special permit. So the Beals report is irrelevant at this point. As far as his comments, I'm listening carefully. I'm making notes. As part of our work, what we've already installed in this plan, stormwater catchments along that road that you're speaking of, so it isn't 750 feet. It could have been, it could be now, actually. I don't disagree with you.
Whatever the whole length of the driveway.
Yeah, the whole way
it's
to the
going
high
down.
point, right? Yeah, so it's all the way up to there. I've got, so what we're saying is that the water goes from the high point, which is like here, all the way to the road, and there's no stormwater, except my plan already shows catchments all the way down here that's taking this water and running through a detention basin.
There's going to be less.
Underground piping and catch basins and treatment manholes, and there's a lot of engineering that's gone into that. So if that.
There's not going to be what you're, because I can't visualize this, I'm just getting this tonight. So you're going to have the water draining off the driveway throughout the driveway.
The water's coming down this driveway and it's going to go into a catch basin like a grate.
Right.
And then it's going to go through a pipe and it's going to go over here and it's going to outlet down the hill that way.
But this was
bypassing.
LeBon's property, right?
Yeah, we bought it.
So you bought it, and this was not part of the plan that you presented.
I'm building a stormwater pond. I don't need a special permit to build a stormwater pond.
No, what I'm saying is this is something.
This is new. I told you, I threw the whole other design away. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just, the other design has been burned because we agreed that it wasn't appropriate for a final design. So this is now just phase one. We're just renovating existing buildings and building some infrastructure, some parking. As part of that, we have a very elaborate design now just for that small amount of work. And it includes capturing this whole watershed, including water from the mansion, and diverting it away from the road and capturing it and putting it through a treatment. So a pond will capture that water and throttle it, I guess, might be the word, slow it down.
So it's going to Stockbridge.
Well, if this driveway is.
You're 62?
I'm 62. I don't know how far away from the bottom of the driveway his capture pond is where it goes into the drain. I mean, footage.
You need footage?
Yeah. Even if it's, you get downpours and you have no drainage, if it's 50 feet or whatever, it's going to go into the roadway if you pave the roadway back up.
It's right at the intersection right here. And this map's 80 scale. So you have to bear with my math a little bit. So this is measuring about 80 scale. It's about 250 feet. It's about 250 feet. So 700 feet goes to 250.
And where's the water going after 250 feet?
It runs, it's going to super elevate this road, which means we're going to take that road and we're going to tilt it like that.
Okay.
So then it runs into the lawn and then it would run down.
Yeah, because when they paved it the first time, it's the lawn that holds all the water in the roadway.
But I'm taking all the water that used to go to the lawn from like my hand here.
Yeah.
And all of this part of it is now going there. So that's what I've been explaining to the commission is I've captured the roof of the mansion and I'm diverting all that water this way. Should significantly improve your situation as it relates to stormwater.
Honestly, I've played with this for years, and the reality is, and I will tell you, my foundation's damaged. It has to be reblocked, and it's all in the front, and it's not like something happens and you tell. This is years of this, and then it gets hit again with stuff. And even today, that driveway today will not handle a hard storm. It's going to go out in the roadway. It's not going to do what I showed in the pictures here, but it's going to go. The reality is today, not one single drop of water should be going over the roadway. And
So it's important.
So
I will. I'll talk to the DPW about it.
You know,
If they're going to, I'm sorry.
I'm not here to debate stuff because this is just coming at me tonight. I can't visualize. And he explained that what this was that was presented is not going to be there now. So as long as my main concern is I don't want any water. And actually, even now, they should be taking care of it. It goes from their drive into a town road with hard rains. It's not my problem. And I'm going to, Josh Payron.
I think that what Jim has done has been very thorough, and I'm sure he will, now that you've pointed out to him that there's maybe more of a problem that he wasn't aware of at the end of the driveway. I'm sure he'll his best to make sure that
I actually believe the south drive
get fixed
is much worse than the north because the north had a hole on the other end of the roadway where it all went. And I think my properties gets hammered worse really detrimental than that.
David had a comment.
David?
David,
Yeah, I don't know, Jim, if you showed this gentleman sheet 4 of 9 to show that big stormwater pond that you're proposing to put in that spot. I just got on Mass Mapper and I looked at this gentleman's property, which is 62 Interlaken. And
Right.
my impression, so sir, right now there's no stormwater management on that property. It's just country drainage. And what this proposal is for the first phase of the project, and I'm not advocating for the project or advocating against it, but what he's proposing, and it shows on sheet 4 of 9, is a pretty sizable stormwater basin that's actually intended to trap and store all that water so it doesn't go across the road.
That's as long as something work, I'm just bringing up the 2 points that I had here.
Appreciate
I
it.
have another point, but I don't know if it will be anything to do with the board. My front property handles the road water by a soil berm, which is just slightly higher than where it goes over the bank of my property. And I brought this up in multiple letters to the selectmen because the only people who usually go over that berm are either utility for electric company and stuff. And I'm just concerned there's no curbing there. There is nothing to protect the property. This is not houses going over there. This is whatever they're proposing, bar rooms and restaurants. I just can't see the lawn holding up there in the front without any protection, and it's town property. And once the rainwater, even if it's from that side of the road, my side of the road, in between my property, maybe 142 feet of frontage, any rainwater that goes into a car rut or gets matted down there will form a channel into the property. So there's no protection of the property there for this type of, I just don't see this amount of people in this project with cars more likely stopping and looking which driveway to go into or turning and looking at. It's I just had, that's the front lawn there, looking at the road. So it's only a little bit of soil that holds the rainwater in. But once vehicles if they start turning around there all the time, it'll just erode the property there. That's it.
Thank you.
we'll see where the level of the road is after they get through with the new.
Yeah, let me find out if he's just overlaying it or what he's doing there.
I don't know if they're gonna grind it down. It's probably got 6-8 inches of blacktop on it.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you one thing before I leave, is that the vehicles go in my drive. Of course, the pickup can go in with no problem, but the cars over the top of that driveway, you get cars, I got one car in the garage will go over the top.
Bottoms out.
Just about, a few inches. So there's nothing that can be done drastically by the town there. I'm saying there's nothing that can be done drastically to upset the pitch of the driveway, because you could literally make it so I couldn't get cars on the drive.
Thank you.
Good job.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, because we've dealt with that. I forget what it was that we dealt with, that we thought we should, I know, it was White
Beechwood.
Pines.
It was Beechwood.
Was it Beechwood?
With the
But
paving-
I know
with the
Beechwood,
paving.
but also White Pines, I think, the house that's just to the south of the White Pines driveway.
The
When
water
they,
was in the front yard.
when they repaved their driveway, which they're allowed to do, it raised it so that all the water was diverted from the White Pines driveway into this man's lawn. And we had discussed, and I don't know how this comes about, but we discussed, it's maintenance, so technically speaking, it's not.
They don't have to come to us.
Yeah, but
it's
it
important.
does change things, and,
So diverting
it
and
clearly has
concentrating-
changed it in Mr. Peyron's.
Right, the terms of art are that diverting and concentrating water onto your neighbor's property is against the law.
Right.
So that's the mandate from the legal side.
Even for the town,
Really, yeah, towns get a little more latitude, right?
because this will be town.
Right, but it's always a problem. I mean, can you imagine the fight they just paved in front of my father's house, was civil engineer, right? So they just paved in front of his house and he was pretty upset about it because they did all the same thing. So he was that gentleman at a meeting in Pittsfield, right? So, but he happened to be a PE, right? So, I mean, it's very common for that to be an issue, you know?
Yeah.
It's difficult, you know, when you, so I get it, but I'll talk to the DPW and find out what their approach is, and then we can incorporate that into our design. And we'll look at this driveway, as we rebuild this driveway, we'll super elevate it, which will tilt it towards the lawn. And that'll capture that little bit of water that we really can't treat and get into the pond because of elevation, that whatever we can't, we'll run it through the lawn and it'll bleed across this entire lawn area like a grass filter strip before it gets to this culvert. So it'll slow it down. It'll work fine. I have the math to prove that, so I'm pretty comfortable.
Okay.
There's a section of lawn in front of the fence along 183. If your guy on a lawnmower gets stuck in the mud because
Oh, I bet.
there's a puddle there.
I bet it is, yeah.
This time of year even.
Yeah, I think I think this drainage plan will help some of that, but this time of year, you're always gonna have that.
I appreciate,
Whenever it rains, it reappears.
Yeah.
I appreciate David's comment that we'll need to just keep checking.
Yeah, right. And so the only issue with that is just let us know because there'll be, we're going to have fence and security, that sort of thing. But you folks are always welcome. It's just we ought to set it up so it's safe. There's a lot of, insurance and liability as it relates to construction sites.
See what's coming down the road.
Yeah, but other than that, you're welcome to attend site visits whenever you.
Danny, you got 5 minutes.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, thank you. I'm here making the same pitch that I've made to you guys 4 or 5 times, 3 or 4 times. It's about the white rock. It's about the limestone. It's about whether it's karst or not. And karst meaning, is there porosity? Is there a possibility of rapid transport off the property to adjoining stuff which we don't know about? And I just think that you guys are flying blind without which is the same thing that I said to Water and Sewer 7 years ago, and they blew me off, but that's okay. That was their right. And all of the stuff that Josh is talking about is tied into the bedrock situation up there. It's the height of a rise right there, and it's not like there's a watershed above it coming down the mountainside and building up and building up. It's what's water is right there, either that's coming as rain or it's actually percolating up out of the ground on that site. And I would like to suggest that that the Conservation Commission seriously consider looking into a hydrologic study. So you have somebody who's working for you, who assembled the existing data, and I believe there is quite a lot from previous wells and incorporating neighboring wells and maybe taking some additional cores to actually, so you guys actually know what you're talking about. I mean, to say that there's limestone out there is one thing, but what kind of limestone? How is it layered up? Is there channels going, towards lake in an accelerated pattern, or is there actually even transport going into the watershed for the town water supply? It's really important to get this right.
Can I offer just one comment? Could you just go up here and take a look at this real quick? So this is the existing data that we have on the site right now. This is the front half of the site. Each one of these boxes represents a monitoring well. the depth to groundwater on a different date. Okay, so these are
The depth to groundwater or the depth to bedrock?
groundwater, but we put in wells. The only place we ran into rock was in this front corner with a test pit. Okay, we did a soil test pit there, which is what's required on the stormwater management policy. So we dug that with an excavator. But all these other boxes represent existing monitoring wells that were drilled on the site. So we're not flying blind is all I'm saying. We have a ton of data.
Jim, I'm not saying you're flying blind. I'm saying that a board making a decision of this magnitude with a resort.
Well, you have to admit, this is a fair amount of data.
Can I finish your sentence? Sure. Yeah, thanks. No problem. That a town board whose primary charge has to do with water and keeping it clean and the health of the community and all that. This is a property which abuts a town water supply and a lake, which is the major jewel of our recreational identity. And I think that what you're talking about is absolutely great. You have a lot of data, but what you're showing me is what's sitting on top of the bedrock. It's the bedrock that we need to understand up there to really know that we're making the right decision.
So I'll talk to, we have a gentleman out there who's a PhD soil geologist who's taking this old data and had just done deep soil borings last week. So I'll ask him. I don't know if he has enough data. I don't know what he I'm not in charge of him. He's doing his own analysis, but I can I will ask him this question.
Okay, but actually, am I done? 30 seconds?
I took some of his time. Let him.
Go. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you too. Thanks to the board. There's a difference between soil and the way water and the direction that water moves through a surface flow and the way it can potentially move through bedrock. Bedrock can be this way. It can be like plywood. It can be the grain direction in the bedrock can be going one way and the surface can be going somewhere else. That's what your charge is to understand what's going on in more than just the surface. It's what's going on underneath as well, because it's a very sensitive area. I don't know if you rate areas by sensitivity, but this is top. It's next to a town water supply. You can't get any higher than that. Thank you. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
David, do you have any thoughts on this?
Pardon?
David?
I appreciate the gentleman's comments. I truly understand where he's coming from in terms of water quality protection in the town. But I'm not sure he understands the commission's jurisdiction when it comes to this particular program. The stormwater permit program is essentially looking at how surface stormwater is managed as a site changes, including as new impervious surfaces are added and grading occurs and soil is disturbed. It's really intended to manage and keep the water that's generated during project construction activities manageable so that it's not affecting downstream resource areas. Limestone, bedrock, those things are not really part of the commission's purview when it comes to this program. I'm not saying they're not important, but it's just not something the commission really has the ability to regulate.
Jim, one of the questions I have is in terms of how during the construction phase, phase one, how is how early on does this infrastructure get put-
Sequencing?
Yeah.
As part of
Get
the,
put in-
part of my charge is to work on the permitting and then simultaneously work on construction drawings. So I kind of am able to dictate that to the site contractor. So through the NIPD's, which is a document that's federal for any activity that alters more than an acre, we require that the stormwater BMPs be installed first. So, that's really the short answer. Long answer is it'll be part of their contract and part of the document.
Because that's going to help the neighbor, as something that's going to happen early on in this process. And that's really.
And I purposely didn't make these infiltration basins because I can put construction related sediment traps at these locations during construction. Because I expect there to be some runoff that has problems as part of the.
More important during construction.
Right. And then, but if these are infiltration basins, I can't use them for both. So, but it's just detention basins and I can clean them out and reshape them and finish them. And then I owe you as-built, whether you ask for them or not, but I owe you because of the special permit. So you'll be getting as-built on all of this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
So totally unrelated question. So how much of the mansion are you gonna be able to sell?
The special permit requires that we have to maintain 50% of each side and then the entire front. And then our goal is that where we're unable to, if you've been through it, it's in tough shape.
Yeah. I know.
So structurally, we have our hands full. And I'm learning that more and more as the experts have gotten involved. But the entire, anything that's visible from the outside as it relates to Interlake and Road passing by, this thing will look like a replica, if not a restoration.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure, we'll see you again.
Yeah, you're going to be seeing a lot of me, unfortunately for you. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You want time?
Just have one thing to sign. We have a lot of other little issues.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Pump house?
Done with that, we're good. So we have coming up is going to be the culvert replacement under Rattlesnake Mountain Road. I signed it, so it's going to be coming to us either for our next meeting or the
We
weekend.
signed it as an abutter.
I signed it as a landowner.
We don't have
We do not,
we don't have anything to look at yet.
but my signing it was what allowed it to go through, so.
That's me. Oh, I was gonna pick them up on the way out.
Forget.
So anyway, I just wanted to let you know that's been done and Bill and Tom came and we all looked at it. Lisa, you wanted to ask about tree watering in
So
the park?
these are the trees that National Grid planted at Goodwell Park. And I was concerned last fall because they weren't watered. They were planted in a drought and not watered.
It's pretty much a drought again.
What's that?
It's pretty much a drought again right now.
Yeah, we're still in a drought. So I did go to look at them over the weekend. There's swamp white oak, red maple, and red Chili Americana. Basswood.
It's the other one?
Basswood.
Yes.
And the red maple and basswood actually looked pretty good. The buds looked healthy. The swamp white oak, on a lot of them, the buds were very dry. And the bark was peeling and cracked, which I don't think it should be doing.
Like
a
a
dried
swamp
out.
fried oak needs water
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
by definition.
So
Sitting
we can look at them again, but I think we need to be ready to tell, I forget what his name was, Anthony?
Anthony, yeah.
That those either are not going to do well or going to die. Just that species, the other two
I'll
species,
shoot him an email.
and that they need to water this spring. They really need to get out there and water, like now.
Dave has his hand up.
Yep, Dave?
David,
Oh, yeah, sorry. I don't mean to interrupt your train of thought, Lisa. The commission had scheduled a site meeting at 27 Church Street also for next Thursday. Can you, what was the time for that one?
4:30?
4:30. Okay, so that might be
That's
after.
for tree removal.
It's just a tree removal, David. You don't
Okay, so,
set up to be that.
okay. Is there anything else on the agenda that the commission needs me to stick around for tonight?
No.
Thank you.
You're all set? Okay.
Have a
Good to see you. Thank you.
David, thanks.
Thank you,
You
David.
bet. Talk to you next time.
All right,
Let's make 9
so
o'clock.
weed harvesting, Stockbridge Bowl, there's been some back and forth on that
Yeah.
about
Did you hear about the one pass thing?
the one pass thing. Miss Deanne has been debating, I'll put it that way, with Michael Canales about what the one pass means, whether it's once a year or once per shot.
If you're gonna go down, it's actually the outlet.
Yeah,
Her reading of the, I don't know what it was,
order of
order
conditions.
conditions was the one pass was in once out, in and out, and you're done for the year.
Okay, and Michael's was,
Well,
When it comes time to go by that end of the lake, you took one pass in and came back out, and the next time you came around, you took one pass in and one pass out.
yeah,
so they're working that out.
they're working on it.
I hope so, because it,
Needs more than one.
There's a big difference.
there's a huge difference. And,
Yes.
and one pass in and one pass out for the whole
The whole
year
season.
is useless.
Oh, shoot, we let David go, but he's going to review 13 Rattlesnake Mountain Road. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just wide open now. He's, Todd Sparks, who has, I guess, bought the property, said that there are trees around the perimeter of where they,
So did you send that?
What?
Did you send what he wants to do?
yes, I sent it all to David.
But did you send it to the commission?
Yes.
I
think so.
Are we harvesting?
No, the
Rattlesnake Mountain?
Rattlesnake Mountain. He didn't have anything specific.
Yeah, no, just he wanted to do more.
He wanted to do more cutting.
But whatever he wants to do.
Right.
Send it to him.
Yeah, but there's nothing specific. David was going to look at it. I think it was, whatever he was going to do was going to be based on David's review. Because he was very close to the edge of what he could do.
They cut everything.
Yeah, but that he wants to cut more and I don't think he can. So
But what
David's
is David-
going to look at it.
But what's David looking at that we can't look at?
Probably
Well,
gonna-
it's just that David was very involved in looking at when they had to redo the border.
Right.
So I thought he would be more familiar with why those decisions were made
Where the border is.
and where the border is. So we'll get the final, but I thought it would be better to have David look at it. Tree cutting, Catherine Ross, 6 Furnace Road. I sent you pictures of what happened there.
What?
I don't know whether it's in the floodplain or not. It might be. It would certainly require a stormwater, because it's way over 10,000 square feet.
Yeah.
And anyway, so
I mean, it's,
I sent them a registered letter requesting that they come in tonight. I did not get the green slip back. So it's possible that the address that was on the assessor's list is not correct.
Is it ongoing? They're still cutting?
I don't know.
There's nothing left to
There's
cut.
nothing left to cut, yeah, that they basically clear cut, I don't know, 20,000 square feet, 25,000 square feet.
I don't know, a
So-
lot.
I would have guessed about 3 acres.
Yeah.
So that's-
It's on the, I mean, it's on the opposite side of the tracks from this town,
Yeah,
but
but
that doesn't necessarily.
that's
it's not a floodplain.
that's an artificial
Yeah, exactly.
barrier.
And there's right along the one edge is a wetland.
Right,
And it's stormwater. If it's
Yeah.
not being cut.
yeah.
I mean, I just caught it out of the corner of my eye driving down to Stockbridge. It's like, what in the world? So I've gone by it several times since. It's like, this is unbelievable.
Sort of shocking, actually. So off of Cherry Street, if you go out past the golf course and go to the left and you go down to where the railroad goes through there, the other side of the railroad is in the floodplain. And it's a rise of 10, 15, 10, I don't know how far it is, but it goes way up where the railroad tracks go. And the other side of it is considered to be in the floodplain. So that's why I wasn't sure about this. We'd have to get a specific map from the FEMA people.
Yeah, I've seen water there all the time after heavy rains.
Yeah.
You look down those tracks from Route 7 and you see water.
Yeah.
You've seen that, Ron,
So is this, are we talking about Furnace Road or are we talking about off Cherry Street? I just mentioned Cherry Street because I happen to know that the floodplain goes beyond the river's here, the railroad tracks are here, and the floodplain is still over here. But it would be unlikely that without a huge flood that it could possibly get there, so I don't know.
So this is a big violation. Yes? Yes. So you sent a certified letter and it didn't get signed, so we don't know this person.
I don't know. I might have missed it. I've got to go back and check.
Okay,
Bill?
because, we
Basically,
need
this whole
to
thing has been
find
clarified.
her. And when this happened in Great Barrington a couple of times, we made people replant.
It was atomics down here,
This is not good.
but this is what?
Yeah. We need to make sure we get her.
Make sure that they get
Get the letter.
letter, then we'll call them back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not give her 6 months to.
No, I have, like I say, I've got to see if we get the green slip back.
It's a lot. I was astounded.
Because I've had it before that the address that the visitors have should be the mailing address because theoretically that's where the tax bill is sent, but it doesn't always work out that way. It was a Housatonic address.
Right, that's why I was questioning whether it was Housatonic or Stockbridge.
Yeah, it's definitely.
It's in Stockbridge for sure, but she has Housatonic mail.
Right.
And it looked like there was, Ron and I went and looked at it. It looked like there's a considerable amount of something going on there. There are boats and trucks and stuff.
Oh, so we
They
need
made
to,
lumber out of it. You could see the cutting.
Oh, yeah.
We must have like a sawmill there at some point in time.
okay, so we need to find her. Or it gets even worse.
Okay.
Well, like I say, there isn't anything else cut. I don't think
Yeah,
it's pretty much done.
The boat ramp was actually open this weekend.
Was that?
Yeah.
Ah. Well, that might
They
be-
may, depending on where they're working, maybe open again. But
Yeah.
once they get down by the water, it will not probably be open. So if you got something to launch, check it next Saturday or Sunday.
We don't have a pier dock to tie it up to is the problem.
Anything else we need to,
So Goodrich Street, we got a citizen comment about people stockpiling debris up against the trees. Not sure whether that's jurisdictional or not, but the person who contacted us was concerned.
But I mean, it must be a concern for the fire department too.
It sounded more like a fire.
Yeah,
concern.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know that it's jurisdictional for us, but if you're heading south, take the little detour down Goodrich Street. I don't know that we have anything else. I think that's it.
Boat ramp update.
it was open last weekend.
And the letter from George with the revision, did anybody take a look at that, what he's?
Yeah, we looked at it on the ground.
Yeah, we moved
You saw it, and you're okay with it?
He moved everything as far up as.
Yeah.
Which means it's further from the root system.
Yeah.
Which, that's using the butters letter.
Any damage.
Yeah, there's no guarantee that the tree is going to survive it, but I think it's got its best
I've been
chance.
looking at it, it's not.
And if they do nothing, it's gonna fall over on a boat with people in it.
Okay, we need a motion
I'll make that motion.
to adjourn. I'll second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.